I was a for story about why I bet Massey a boss akase and make you waves year pa for some days now, no. And from the look of things, the way our angles, every different dimensions, no. Story, you become once a match a pa. Now, story, it have something to do with Mr. Kofi Bota, or one of the biggest moguls I walk through Marseille. According to information, FBI for USA, American FBI for ATS Chroma, I say, omo arresti onu enemy accomplice bi na de no so a new development abano say finally no the Minister of Interior no edini sa ashe kratasia and I say wa issue warrant say the US FBI no ombetimi akoso aye extradition na omo eba so mbabe no they can go ahead and make sure say ombe Ghana for number of Ghana for ya coffee boat account or mechi omako USA na omako face trials no na yan costo no mangasa na yanti press release ne ba na say press na press statement Mr. Muntaka Mohammed editor abontin on no Minister for Interior no story ya to abontin yan go ti emunsem no kakra ne hemba. Now, 3 Ghanaians were recently arrested in connection with $100 million US dollars fraud scheme involving business emails, compromises, and romance scams, commonly known as Sakawa, in the United States of America, USA. The 3 suspects who are about to be extradited to the USA are part of the criminal gang known as the Enterprise. The arrest of the suspects follows an extradition request from the USA authorities for 4 Ghanaians suspected of being members of this criminal gang that they're talking about. Now, only one of the suspects, that's Isaac Kofi Oduro Boatin, also known as Kofi Boat, a man identified only as Agony, and a 3rd accomplice. What we are gathering right now has cited that we have cited a document that gives more details of the 4 suspects and the crimes they have been accused of. Now, details of this are what we are coming to put out right now. An arrest warrant signed by the Minister of the Interior, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, on March 18, 2028 showed the names of all the suspects who have been described as the chairman or high-ranking members of the enterprise. Aside from Kofi Boat, the other suspects named in the arrest warrant are Inusa Ahmed, Derek Van Yeboah, and Patrick Kwame Asare. Those are the names Omuka Kofi Boat Mwa Omudin Ebe PMO Ewo document and I say document Yensaka Minister of Interior no Mr. Mohammed and Sa Eshas those are the names was apart from Kofi Boat him say Kofi Boatin other names was Inusa Ahmed, Derek Van Yeboah, and Patrick Kwame Asare. Those are the names other accomplices Omoso Omodin Ewo list. So the arrest warrant issued by the minister identified the 4 men as Ghanaians in exercise of the power conferred on the Minister of the Interior by Section 7(1) of the Extradition Act 1960, Act 2022. The following order is hereby made clear. It is hereby signified that a requisition has been made to me as a aforesaid, and you are hereby required in accordance with the provision of Section 7(1) of the Extradition Act 1960, Act 22, to issue a warrant for the apprehension of the said names, that's Isaac Oduro Boatin, aka Kofi Boat, Inusa Ahmed, Derek Van Yeboah, and then Patrick Kwame Asare. Part of the document read as follows. Court document is privy to show that Kofi Boat and 3 other Ghanaians are accused of committing business email compromise, that's a BEC, and romance scam fraud against individuals and business located across the United States of America. The accused persons, who were described as chairmen or high-ranking members of the enterprise, are also accused of facilitating the receipt concealment and transfer of funds from the fraudulent enterprise, defrauding dozens of victims of the list of at least $100 million US. In this category, $100 million US. Now, the 4 Ghanaians were indicated by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York on May 30th, 2023. The courts charged them with conspiracy to commit weird fraud and money laundering in relation to a criminal enterprise operating out of Ghana. Specifically, they were charged with conspiracy to commit wired fraud, and aiding and abetting wired fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to receive stolen money, and receipt of stolen money, and aiding and abetting receipt of stolen money. Following their indirections, an extradition request was issued by the U.S. Department of the State and relayed through the U.S. Embassy in Accra on the 13th June 2024. However, a warrant for the arrest of the suspects was only issued on March 18, 2025, which led to the arrest of 3 of the suspects recently. The suspects were arraigned before a magistrate court in Accra and have since been remanded into police custody pending proceedings for their extradition to the USA. That's basically no omuhu documents and omuhu insem no ewo police for akachi achese as at now no police for eyemu adwuma se ombehwe yi ombe make sure say saa nipa we ayabbo mu di we Kofi Boat eka ho no saa nipa we no omobeka akopie mu ewo USA a ombeka akofisi law no ewo US of A. Now of course yen na yen say so obe be fee now obefa bibi wo fee or there was say obisa permission in the rightful manner no saa na say we no. And I believe that that's the right way US for no omofa so a omode letter eba first of all to the embassy work Accra hase no omode letter eba here and the letter no call reach to the Minister of Interior no so dey nsa achase o che say okay yes sanko for yabo me dey we no Kofi Boat any na accomplice Ahmed Mune Derek Muna dey no those men and I say some member we no omubeko akofisi brano ewo USA a lady say kronua allegedly no ababeto abontin say oma committee crime oma wi amanfo ewo USA no at least according to report no at least no nipa dodo oma fraud omo ni nyina no at least enye amount oma tina fraud omo no accumulated to $100 million US, and yes, I get to a crown level can was and at the same time, you know, Nipano or Martina Frodio Omodoso ye partner enterprise and as a company Omodi a Frodiomono and also NST earlier on press nomono. Into way na information and as a new development about the toja about Kofi Boat and in accomplice and who can for who go for or do more allegedly no or do more about Sacro way from the US no and no and the FBI for at Jesse Croma or my arrest at Jesse Siano. Niama Eco so say on the crack of Fesi and Brana Casacasa, our US. na yebedi sa story we chi ye pa
One time you on your me she also money my yeah, so beware of this, beware of this, Judas and Jezebels. Watch me on your me, on your me. Oi, Rasta man me full of loving, but the word believing in we don't trust again. Everybody's frightened, nobody want love again. But it is very clear that we must love again. We must love again. But beware, them officially goes with the narrow. That I beg, I don't want no vampires in my circle. Hey, so beware.